Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Forged Irish Stout. We're here with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, just take it away. I've had so much fun in these last two press conferences. It's like the old days where you had the proper rivalries. Talk to me about what happened on stage. It looked like Jack Catterall got hold of him at one point. Talk me through it.
Josh comes on the stage and gives Jack a spelling and colouring book. Jack slaps him across the face. Josh goes to pick up a chair. I mean, like, I know we talk about rivalries, but honestly, and I know people say, "Oh, you're just saying that." I've not seen one as violent. Like, they want to attack each other on sight. You know, like with Frig Crampton and that's all right, isn't it? Still?
Yeah, just right, yeah, go on.
You know, like with Quig Frampton, they had a little bit, and Hay Bellew and I didn't never feel like guys. Like, even in the head-to-head, I actually speak to both of them, right? And even then, you know, I've literally got two security either side holding their arms down because they just want to fight now. And this is going to build, I mean, it's already a massive fight, but this is going to build into a monster fight April 27, and I can't wait.
I'm pleased to hear that you got this on DAZN. I know there was a lot of toing and froing in the final sort of couple of weeks. We were a bit like, you know, is it going to land on Sky? Is it going to land with us? And to get it on now after you've seen these press conferences must be a buzz.
I'm always going to thank DAZN because I think they do an incredible job. But what they did for this fight was quite incredible. You know, the purses required really can only lend itself to a pay-per-view fight. And DAZN felt that with Joshua against Ngannou and Fury against Usyk and Haney against Garcia and all the mega fights that they've got, this should be a fight that was available to subscribers without being pay-per-view. And I believe that as well. But at first, it was difficult to get those funds together to make it happen that way. I said to Sam Jones, go and speak to the other broadcasters, see who wants to do it. Multiple broadcasters, of course, Sky, the most famous one, come back and said, yes, we want to put this on pay-per-view, we're ready to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I just had to go back to DAZN and say, look, we've either got to let this go on pay-per-view or you've got to pay the money for subscribers. And DAZN said, we'll pay the money. And I couldn't believe it. And we're very lucky. And, you know, I think it's such a great addition to the DAZN schedule as part of your subscription. And, you know, everybody moans about pay-per-view fights. This is a pay-per-view fight, but it's not a pay-per-view on DAZN, bearing in mind the model that we want to offer to subscribers. So, amazing and part of a huge schedule, but we need to sprinkle in these big British fights. You know, it's great that we're getting these massive fights in Saudi, and we wouldn't be getting them without them, but we just got to maintain the market here, and this is exactly the way to do it.
In terms of these two, do you think after this is done, no matter what the result, do you think there'll be a handshake, a bit of respect? Because we see it a lot in build-ups and you think that'll be done when it's done.
I think the emotions after a fight can sometimes go two ways. Like when you've had a war with someone and it's all over, even in the most bitterest of rivalries, you see an embrace or a hug, or at least respect. And I'd like to think we get that here, but it is so personal, and it's not just the controversial decision, but it's also the back and forwards. You know, people talk about personal insults, families have been affected. Like, it's pretty deep. So I'm not so sure. I'm just looking forward to it. You know, hate runs deep is the title, and really, that's the truth.
In terms of what could come off the back of this, obviously, for the winner, they're going to be wanting to bounce onto world titles. Were you surprised that Josh requested it at this week? There's been long talks about him bouncing up to 147.
We expected to make this fight at a catchweight, you know, but Josh was the one who said he wants it at 140. And he's obviously happy there, he's comfortable there. Joe McInally believes that's his weight as well. And I like that. You know, it shows he's serious. I don't really like catchweights anyway, to be honest with you. But I understand if it's the difference between a fight getting made or not. But, you know, good that it's a championship weight.
I saw online earlier, I think it might be Pro Boxing Fans announced an interview with Jamie Moore, Chantelle Cameron, believers, they've parted ways. What's your sort of reaction to that, heading into what could be a huge trilogy?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've had a great run together. You know, I'm sure it's an amicable split. They're both sensible people who obviously feel that the time was right to move on. So, yeah, wish them both all the best. Obviously, our plan is to try and make Taylor against Cameron 3, and we'll see where that gets to.
Edgar Berlanga and Pody McCrory. Yeah. I know a lot of people fancy that as an upset. The Irish are coming. Do you see an upset on the cards? What do you think?
Look, Pody McCrory is ahead of Edgar Berlanga in the world rankings in every governing body. He's a huge puncher, and he's got big balls, and he has no fear. So Jamie Connon and Michael Connon and all the team are telling me, I'm telling you now, this kid wins by knockout on Saturday. Edgar Berlanga is a massive puncher as well. The fight's called Shootout. it's a great fight in Orlando on Saturday, and a great undercard as well. Andy Cruz fights Zamaripa, who had a great fight with Angel Fierro. Look out as well for Giasov against Pablo Cano in a final eliminator for the world title, and plenty more. Really good night of action, and a lot of people fancying the upset on Saturday.
In San Fran, you were trying to hint that you'd want to see Andy Cruz and Keyshawn Davies. Has there been any further contacts about that? Because that'd be a great fight.
Yeah, but I think that, I'm sure Keyshawn says he will take the fight now, but Top Rank have put a lot of money into Keyshawn Davies, and they've got some very smart people at Top Rank that know their boxing. They also know that Keyshawn Davies couldn't beat Andy Cruz, so what's the point in putting him in with him?
Okay, but Keyshawn fancies that fight, so would he not
get a decision? If you said to the people at Top Rank, let's make the fight, they'll go, no, thank you. Keyshawn will say, yeah, I want revenge. I mean, what did he lose? 63 times against him in the amateurs, something like that. Never won a round against him, really. And I think Keyshawn's on a great path, great fighter, great entertainer. There's no point ruining his career against Andy Cruz.
Big fights coming up. Speaking of big fights, Devin, Haney, Ryan Garcia, how much are you looking forward to that? We mentioned how we touched on it before, they had that sort of meet-up and whatever, but that's going to come fast, on this schedule of DAZN. Yeah. How much are you looking forward to that and getting back over there for that? It's a great fight.
Yeah, press conference next week in New York off the back of the Orlando show. It's the week before this, so it's just a huge part of a huge schedule on DAZN, and I think that's the perfect fight, as I said, for Devin and DAZN, and maybe Ryan Garcia, and big respect for both of those guys for putting it all on the line.
Dalton Smith, Adam Azim, I know you mentioned it to other outlets, but I want to pick up on that. As there being an update, because you're expecting this not to happen, aren't you?
Yeah, no, they'll pull Adam Azim out of the fight.
How shocked are you going to be if they go, let's do it?
I'll be over the moon. But, it's and as I said, I wanted to make it clear that it's a 50-50 purse split as ordered by the British Boxing Board of Control and the EBU. So whatever you're prepared to pay Adam Azim, just offer Dalton Smith the same. We'll do it on Sky, so there's no politics.
You'll give that up?
We'll do it on Sky. I won't even go to purse bid. Just make the offer and I'll top it up what we need to, and we'll do it on Sky. Because there is no way they will take that fight against Dalton Smith. No way.
You just believe they're that unconfident, or that it's just not the right time?
Look, Adam Azim's a brilliant fighter, but Shane McGuigan and the McGuigan, they're smart people. They ain't fighting Dalton Smith right now. They know how good Dalton Smith is, and I'm not saying that it's an easy fight for Dalton Smith. He just wins the fight. But when they're talking about Keyshawn and Teofimo Lopez, and you won't fight Dalton Smith, But I may be wrong, but I'm 99.9. I'm even 100% sure you'll see something very soon where they will say Adam Azim is not taking the Dalton Smith fight.
You've now got a good working relationship with Frank Warren. That sort of, it's weird to actually interview you where one of you hasn't said something about the other. It's
your numbers.
Well, I thought about this the other day and thought, no one's slagging anyone else.
It's great for British boxing, but it's terrible for your numbers.
A little bit. Well, look, you mentioned there obviously about Ben Shalom. Is there an opportunity where you'll work more with them? I know you're not saying you're not working with them, but in terms of that good relationship with Frank, you think that'll happen with Ben at some point?
Yeah, we don't have a problem. I mean, we've let lots of fights take place on Sky with our fighters, and they've let absolutely none take place on DAZN. So it shows you the willingness of the relationship. Like Adam Azim again, there's loads of fights we can make. I mean, Isaac Chamberlain. I love Isaac, but they're basically pretending that Chev Clark doesn't even exist. He's mandatory for the British title. It's probably the biggest fight out there for Isaac Chamberlain. So it's all very well me saying, yeah, we'll work with them, but if they're not prepared to work with us, then I don't know how we move forward. So, but we've overcome the biggest obstacle, which was Matchroom Queensbury, and right now we're thriving together by doing that. Boxer have no choice but to work with other people, because eventually you'll run out of money and you won't be able to make the fights because the fights exist in other places. And that's the same with us, and the same with His Excellency, who said, guys, let's just work together. Let's make the fights people want to see. And we've done it, and look at the response and reaction. And June the 1st will be the opening event.
Final one from me, Conor, Benn, Danny Garcia. Yeah. Positive talks?
Yeah, only really that he's reached out and said, I'd like that fight, can we discuss it? So we'll talk to him this week. I like the fight. I mean, he's one of honestly 10 fights that will be determined by the ruling from the appeal, which will be forthcoming in about 2 weeks. But Danny Garcia is right up there. He's a big name.
154?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer 147, but I'm sure Danny will prefer 154, so we'll see. But definitely a great fight, a great name, and we'll see where it gets to.
Eddie, appreciate your time.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.